On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains.
Coming to you straight from San Diego, California. Let's welcome our host, April Mahoney.
And I'm so glad that you are here to light up the light of our brains here on the Edge with April Mahoney. Oh yes, there's our guest today, Sophiezo. She has a very interesting business model, Brains. Okay, now I know that in a lot of work environments, outsourcing or having a third party come in and do certain things is very unnerving. But you have to understand that as you scale your business, your needs are going to be different. You know, you might be able to take off some of that accounting overhead and put that into research and development, or put that into HR and training and development. So there's a way to pivot, edit, and shift so that everybody comes out a winner. Now, Sophie's has had many businesses, and I'm gonna let you tell them about that, Sophie, but she has been able to really redesign and reformulate herself to fit the niche. I want you to listen to that too. Not just so much what she's doing for these corporations, but what she's done for herself. She's helping 6- and 7-figure businesses grow with a plug and play implementation team. So she's got a whole team that can come in and offset some of the mundane functions, or, you know, help you reduce some costs to generate more revenue. So help us welcome her to the Edge. That is Sophiezo. Hi.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is really great. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you because this is a pivotal time for individuals. This is a new normal, as we keep calling it, for businesses, for individuals, for employees and employers. And people are really thinking that they're going to go under. But as I keep sharing with my brains, this is an opportune time to make some money.
Absolutely, yes. This is not the time to crawl under a rock and go away. There's so many services, products, and things that are still needed, and things are going to open back up. And, you know, a lot of people have just had to pivot from being so less online focused and more, you know, brick and mortar focused, or, you know, they've just done the minimal online marketing kind of a thing. Well, you know, you can't do the in-person meetings anymore. You got to go digital. You got to go online. And that's, you know, if you are willing to go that extra mile to keep yourself going, you can do it. And it's going to be a phenomenal addition to your business, even once we get back to whatever that new normal is, and you're back into your brick and mortar, if you're brick and mortar, or if you're just an online business, but you've just been real casual with the online world. You're knee deep in it now, and you really need to be, and you need to stay that way, because the online part of the world is not going away anytime soon. And
not. If anything, it's going to accelerate. It's going to accelerate.
Exactly.
So introduce yourself to my brains. I want them to know all of the wonderful things you've done, your powerful skill set, you know, all your different business modalities. Share that with my brains.
I'd be happy to. I'm Sophie Zollmann, otherwise known as Sophiezo. And I am a certified social media manager, online business manager, and customer acquisition specialist. I am the owner and founder of Sophiezo, Virtually There For You. And my business actually was never meant to be, but it was not anything I planned. I started doing what I do now about almost 20 years ago now. I was a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, but I needed to make money for the family. My husband's income wasn't enough. We needed to make more, but I couldn't go back to work and spend all my money on daycare. So I jumped into data entry from home at first. And then I did, believe it or not, mystery shopping. That was fun, but
it's fun, but it's crazy too. They have some. I used to do it too.
It's fun, but it doesn't make a lot of money, and so I had to find something that I could do from home and be there for my kids and my family and make money. So once upon a time, Guru.com was called eMoonlighter.com. I put myself out there those almost 20 years ago, and with my skill sets and things, and I was picked up by an e-commerce guy out of New York, selling supplies and things to Masons, Shriners, and Eastern Star members. And he initially picked me up as his customer service VA, virtual assistant, for anybody who doesn't know what a VA is. And I worked with him for almost 4 years, graduating from virtual assistant to online business manager, taking his company from $50,000 a year to $500,000 a year. And I was doing that all for a whopping $12 an hour.
Wow.
I had no idea what virtual assistants and online business managers should be making and could be making when I was
doing. Let me chime in right there. Do you see that was you got to step out if you want to make some money? Am I right?
Oh yeah, no, that was almost 20 years ago when I figured out. Wow. I mean, that was 15 to 20 years ago, but yeah, I was working like it was just a job. I had no idea how the virtual world worked and how independent contractorship worked, and all of that. And I was doing all of that for almost for pittance. And then I took a break because I was burned out. I was just losing my mind working for $12 an hour, running a $500,000 company practically by myself because the owner wasn't doing almost anything. And so we decided to let me retire, so to speak, be a stay-at-home mom again because we'd saved up some money. We were in a good place. And then our house started falling apart. The stove stopped working. The dishwasher stopped working. We found termites in our deck. So we had to spend all that money to fix all those things. I had to go back to work. But again, didn't want to go back to a job. So I learned transcription. I have a good ear and I'm a fast typist. And I found a company on that same guru.com website that was willing to hire newbies. She brought me on. And when I started transcribing teleseminars of people who were in that online world, the online entrepreneurs, the coaches, the info product people. And I found my first niche. I went, oh my God, I want to work for these people. I don't want to do e-commerce like I was before, but I want to work for these people. So I did that for a few months in the transcription, but then I was like, no, this is not me. I need to be a virtual assistant again. So I relaunched myself as a virtual assistant and put myself on social media. I was on Twitter and Facebook, and I lived there. My husband went nuts with all the computer time I was spending, but I had to do it. I didn't have a marketing budget. I didn't have advertising, but I needed to get clients. And within
let me jump in and ask a question, because I have been suffering from screen fatigue. Did you suffer from screen fatigue?
Back then, no, I loved it. I adore social media. I could live on it all day if I didn't have other work to do.
Well, you know what? I do to a limit, but let me tell you, Brains, that is something that is very real. My eyes were actually bulging. I was feeling nauseous. I was getting a headache. I didn't know what in the world was going on. And my husband said, baby, you need to dial back and just step away from the screen for hours at a time. Take a break, go in, do what you're going to do. So screen fatigue is a very real syndrome. And if you're feeling any of those things, back away. But if you are, a hard charger like Sophie, go for it. But I wanted to share that with them. So I want to ask you a question too about virtual assistants, because I've had a few of them on my show and people really, really rave about them. I had a virtual office where I would go and meet with clients, tricked out, beautiful, paid a little bit. I had a receptionist that would answer the phone. They'd take my mail. I'd have my meetings there. I mean, people thought I was Big Willie. I was up on the 35th floor. Oh yes, overlooking the city. And it was great. So outsourcing these type of things can also be very cost effective. Tell me a little bit about when you approach a corporation or a company with your plug and play, what do you say to them? How do you pitch them? How do you get them excited about even hearing what you have to offer?
Well, the first thing I say is, what do you do every day that you hate doing? What do you do every day that is not your expertise, that you really shouldn't be doing? And then I say, what do you really want to be doing every day? And the answers to those questions tell me exactly where my team comes into play, because we are there for all the operations, administrative, and marketing areas of the business, from management and strategy on down to execution and implementation.
Wow.
And so we can get so much off their plate and we can do so much for them so that they can focus on either growing the business or streamlining the business, or both, because sometimes you have to do both to grow.
Right.
And or they can also consider the lovely option of unplugging.
Mm-hmm.
Completely, not just for a little while. They can take a full vacation and unplug, and knowing that me and my team have got their company and we're running and we're doing everything that needs to be done, and we will only reach out to them in case of emergency for something we can't handle. They literally can take a vacation and unplug and enjoy that time and not have to worry about the business. And that is the upper level of our services. But the unique thing about us, because there's lots of team businesses out there, there's a lot of agencies out there. Mm-hmm. One of the unique things about what I do as my plug and play implementation team is we customize the services to the client. We don't have cookie cutter packages that you have to buy, even if you don't need pieces of that package. Or if you need a package, but you need some other things, but we have no package that fits that. I customize my services and my team, the people on my team who need to work for a client based on the client's needs. And that can be something as simple as a little bit of social media management, all the way up to what I was talking about, the full business management team, and just doing everything on the behind the scenes side of the business that needs to happen.
Everything like HR, you can do accounting, finance, strategic planning.
Now, we do not do HR, and we do not do accounting or bookkeeping. That is one area we do not cover, but I do have contacts in those areas that I can refer out to and have that company or that business owner hire someone in that place, in that area where they need the help. And if they're also hiring us for other areas, they can hire us to be the managing point for that person. They don't even have to manage that person. We can manage their team and people on their staff in their stead, so to speak, if that's the type of services they need us for. Mm-hmm. And so we can help them hire other things that we don't do.
Right.
Or depending upon what it is, I can hire someone and add them to my team, and therefore have that service to offer later down the road.
Okay, so let me dial back a little bit. I am, the CEO, queen of everything over here. And so I want to have a company like yours come in. The first thing, of course, we do is we meet and you ask those 3 critical questions. What do I like to do? What don't I like to do? And what would I like to do? I understand all that, but then you have to go in and you have to understand the business. So that takes some time too, to understand what the business model is, what the platform is, what their strategic plan is, and what their goal is. And then you take that back to your team, customize what they need, and then implement those things?
Absolutely, yes. We have a discovery call, and we talk about the areas of the business you need help with, where you're what things need to be done, what processes and procedures, if any, you already have in place. And we map out, we talk about the areas of the business you need our help. And then I go back to my team and to just, the basics of what we do. And I put together a proposal of what areas we can help in, how we're going to help, and what we're going to do. And then there's a monthly fee that you would pay to have those services happen every single month.
And then that monthly fee is how you slice and dice and play and pay and support your team members.
Absolutely, yes. That one fee includes everybody from my company who's going to be helping your company. It's not, it costs this much to have me and it costs this much to have my VA this. And no, it's a package deal where you get everybody you need and every service you need under one fee. And that's all you pay for our services that are mapped out in a scope of work. I come back with a specific scope of work and the price for that, and that's what it is. Now, I also build a little bit of flexibility into that so that if there's the occasional one-off thing we didn't think of or that just happens to come up,
right,
and we can do it, we'll do it, and there won't be an extra charge. But I also offer the flexibility of if we're working together and say we've been together 6 months and there's a particular service we're doing that you either want to stop doing for whatever reason, or you want to give it to someone else who is not on my team, then we joyfully hand that off to that other team. But of course, then we would reduce our monthly retainer because we're taking that chunk out. or we could
Now,
replace it with a different service if
now
you
let
want.
me ask a question. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of this, how do you go in and merge with the current staff and the employees? Because they're saying, hey, here come Sophiezo, and they're going to take our jobs and our benefits and all this kind of stuff. Um, the reason why I ask that is, how do you work cohesively with the people that are still there on staff? Because you have to have a business relationship with them. There's going to be things that you're going to need from them, resources, and you want a cohesive work environment for your client. You don't want any, conflict or adversity. How do you work on that? What's your strategy for that?
Well, usually it's just a matter of, I have the call with the owner of the company, the person who's bringing us in for the side of things that we need to do. And then we just have a meeting with their staff, whether it be by phone or Zoom or something like that. Because usually most of my clients are not local to me. I have very few local clients. Most of my clients are somewhere in the United States. And, but
Now, are
we
they all domestic? Do you do any international clients?
I don't have any right now, but I have done international clients. I have worked with people in Scotland and Australia, and I've had team members for clients, or with clients, I should say, that were like from the Philippines as well. And I was the project manager in that particular case. So the business owner was in Australia. She had me and a few other team members in the United States, and then she had some people in the Philippines, and she had somebody in England at one point too. So we
Right.
were
Spread
it
all
was
over the
a very
place.
global relationship for sure, and I can do that too.
So basically, it is up to, which it should be, up to the business owner to bridge that and to make it a soft sell for everyone, because that shouldn't be your responsibility. You're there to do a job. But then too, folks can get crunchy because they are very intimidated. I've been in many companies, 2 or 3 that I was laid off because of outsourcing. But, that opened up opportunities for me to learn what the outsourced people do. If you have a skill of an accountant, you can, pitch yourself to Sophie and say, hey, this is what I do. This is my skill set. Are you looking for someone to fill this? Or, do you have an affiliate program? You might be a person that does graphic design. You might be a person that does manufacturing, research and development, strategic planning. All these things are components, brains. So don't think that just because you're at a current job right now that you're stuck there. You do have options to be an entrepreneur and to still work with someone that's very structured like Zoe. So, I don't want to pinpoint anything, but if someone was looking to be a virtual assistant, what does that look like now as far as dollars and cents? What is the going rate? Is that hourly? Is it by contract? How does that work?
Well, generally speaking, especially for a new VA, a new virtual assistant to the virtual assistant world, they're going to start out hourly, and they're going to generally charge a retainer of X amount of hours per month. And then it's up to the client to, give them the work that fills those hours. Now, of course, the virtual assistant, if she's a professional and responsible kind of person, and she sees that they're not using their hours, she's going to go to them and say, hey, we still got X hours left, and we only got a couple weeks left in the month. Let's figure out something I can do to fill those hours so they don't go to waste, because generally speaking, those hours don't roll over. It's a use it or lose it kind of system. There are some VAs out there that will roll over, but generally speaking, you buy X amount of hours a month and you're responsible to use them. But like I said, any really go-getter virtual assistant is going to come to that person and say, hey, we've got hours left over. We need to use these. Let's find something, anything that is within my skill set to get those hours used up so that we can go into next month with, this didn't hang out and you go, oh my gosh, I only used 5 hours and I wasted 5 hours, or whatever the case may be.
Right. Now, I want to dial back. Okay. You got a powerful deliverable. I love it, working from home. But where do you get the chutzpah? Where do you get the drive and the ability to reinvent yourself? Because there's a lot of brains out there that are watching this that are saying, hey, I have nowhere to go. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid. Talk to them Talk to them, Zoe and Sophiezo.
Happens all the time.
I know, but talk to them, baby. Encourage them and tell them, how you found the strength to really reinvent yourself. And what did you do? What are some of the action steps that you took?
Well, the first thing I did back, 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago, before I had the actual business, because even after I left that gentleman and took that time off and then relaunched myself as a virtual assistant, I was doing it freelance. I didn't have this business, Sophiezo, Virtually There For You. I was a freelancer. But it wasn't until I was on social media connecting with other virtual assistants who wanted to hire me as a subcontractor to do work for them that Sophiezo Virtually There For You was born, because then I incorporated to protect myself, to protect them, and to really make this kind of the real deal, so to speak. But, you don't have to have a business to do it, and you may not even want to start out with one, but you have to find what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what you love doing, and you have to actually want to support people and be their right-hand person. You want to be that person that they rely on to get stuff done, because that's one of the big things that I have learned in my years of doing this is my specialties and my strengths are in the management of the business side of things, the strategy, and then social media is my passion, because that's what got me where I am today. But I love helping people do what I've done and more in their business, whether they're a virtual assistant, a coach, a lawyer, whatever they may be. But I found over the years that, I started out as a solopreneur then. I built a little team then for a little while, because at first I was just referring people away when I didn't know how to do what this person wanted to do. And then a mentor said, don't refer them out. Ask that person you're referring to be on your team. And that was my first team concept of a business. And I did that for a few years, and it worked really well. And I was able to serve more people, which is one thing I really want to do, is serve as many people as possible. But then I became a jack of all trades in that time too, where I was learning all kinds of skills. And I just really kind of got burned out on being the jack of all trades. I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to specialize in the things that I'm really passionate about. So that reinvention was when I became a certified online business manager and a certified social media manager, because those two areas were my strengths and my passions. But I went back to a solopreneur, except for a few little people helping me here and there for just some one-off things. But that, again, I still got into that whole boat of, well, I can only help so many people. And I really have a heart for helping as many people as I can. And so in 2018, I actually went exclusive with a client. I had a high-end client that asked me to go exclusive. I went with them for just 1 year. I went with them. I said, okay, I'm going to drop all my other clients and I'm going to work for you. And I did that for a year. And a year later, they let me go.
Wow.
So January of 2019, I went from this high-end exclusive 6-figure client to nothing.
Wow.
And so I had to reinvent myself again, because I had the opportunity. And at first you think, oh my gosh, that's awful. Weren't you devastated? Well, of course I was. But it was the opportunity for me to reinvent myself again, to build a business that I really can get behind and love. Because on the side, before they let me go, I was already starting to build an agency style business that I was going to use as a side hustle, that I was going to use as an additional revenue stream. But
she said that, brains, that's what we do. It's a side hustle.
Side hustle or an additional revenue
with the hustle. Ain't nothing wrong with the hustle.
A side hustle that, and I was going to build a team, and the team was going to do all the work, and I was going to have this exclusive client, and I was going to have this team of people doing all these other clients over here, and I was just going to be, but because of this exclusive client, I really didn't have the time to build that other business, that other model. Well, they let me go. And I actually had, right before they let me go, I had purchased a VIP day with my coach and mentor. And so 2 months after they let me go, I had my VIP day. And that day is where the plug and play implementation team business was born and raised and modeled, because my coach and his team sat with me for 4 hours. And we hammered out the messaging, the services, the pricing, and redoing the website and redoing my free offer. And I totally reinvented myself literally from scratch in those 4 hours with my coach and mentor. And it has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. I love my business more than ever. I can serve more people. And now I don't even niche into a specific industry because I can grow my team as needed. And the services we offer fit just about any kind of industry out there. There are some things that we have to either tweak or say, we can't do X because it involves Y, and we can't do that because, like for attorneys, for example, we can't be their paralegal. We can't do things that have to do with the legal side of things, but we can do everything else.
Tariffs and currency and shipping and all that kind of things if you're dealing internationally. So now I want to ask you one more question before we conclude.
Okay.
What would be some of the cons, when a company is looking to have a plug and play? What are some of the things that they really need to hammer out and to know, 3 or 4 things that they need to know about the company that they're looking to bring on board?
Well, they definitely need to make sure the company has a website and preferably a few social media sites, and that they can Google them and they will come up in a Google search without any massive amounts of negative reviews or negative information out there. They also need to, you can still get references. Just because I'm a company, I don't have a resume, but my website and my LinkedIn profile, those are my resumes. But you can still ask for references, and hopefully the website like mine has testimonials on it. If you see they've got testimonials, and you can even ask to talk to some of those people that left the testimonials or somebody who hasn't left the testimonial, do references, do your homework. And, I don't know about other companies, but I'm also open to a background check. If someone wants to run a background check on me, I'm not going to blink an eye. I'm not going to say no. Be my guest, because I know my reputation is solid and my past is solid, that they're not going to find anything that's going to make them run away because they're going to think I'm a fraud or a scam or anything like that.
Right.
But,
and opening yourself up to, giving this third party a lot of your proprietary information.
Yes.
Your business practices, your business model, your client base, your revenue stream, your taxes. So, again, like she said, whatever you need to do to investigate this company it's only to your benefit, and a good working relationship. Always make sure that they return a phone call. That is so annoying when you have turned your business over to somebody else, and I go to call Sophie, and Sophie has always got her too full voicemail, never responding. That's a key indicator right there that this is not a good place to do business. So tell my brains, I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Absolutely. Communication is key.
That's right.
Knowing what you want done is key. Communicate and expectations. That is the other thing on both sides of the window here. The business owner, needs to have clear expectations of what you expect of me and my team and the work we're going to do for you. And I have to have the expectations of how our relationship is going to work. And meaning, when are we going to communicate? How are we going to communicate? What are you going to turn over to me? I mean, everything has to be communicated. There has to be realistic expectations. That's the other thing. You got to make sure your expectations are realistic. Because if you've got especially if you don't know a lot about virtual assistants or online business managers, definitely do your homework on that too, because don't go into it thinking a virtual assistant's going to do this and they don't.
Right.
Because you've got to be clear on all of that, because there are virtual assistants out there that do all kinds of different things. Some specialize, some don't. And then there's the online business managers who are a totally different entity. And then there's social media managers. I mean, it's just wide open out there. You got to make sure you know what each person or what each field of study, so to speak, does before you even hire, because you want to make sure you're hiring the right people too. And that's what's beneficial about me and my team is I have almost all of those people on my team, so you can get what you need and know that you're getting what you need because we have those people in place, those experts in place already.
You have a very unique, I shouldn't say unique because it's super popular, hobby and fascination with Harry Potter. So does my daughter. My daughter is, what's the blue one? Is it Ravenclaw? Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah.
Baby, she's got it to the 9. And she had me do some sort of assessment or take the test to figure out what house I was in. I was a Ravenclaw, but she says, no, you're really a Gryffindor. What is the fascination with Harry Potter and you, and why are you such an enthusiast?
It's just such a great story with so many characters and so much, and it starts out very kind of innocuous and simple. He's an 11-year-old kid, finds out he's a wizard, never knew he was a wizard, goes off to school to learn how to be a wizard and sees what his life can really be about. And even though it becomes darker and darker when Voldemort takes over as the bad guy and, is trying to get rid of Harry because Harry is his nemesis. It's the whole storyline of this kid who grows up becoming a much more grown person and more magically inclined, but keeps his goodness, even as powerful as he gets, because he's one of the most, next to Voldemort and Dumbledore, he's one of the most powerful wizards alive again. And he's not even a full-blooded wizard, as they harp on in the movie. But
Right.
it's such a magical story, and good wins out in the end. And there's various little love stories in there, and it's
a beautiful story.
So well written and detailed. It's not just quick, easy books, and it's
no. Well, my story about that is my daughter had a reading challenge, and we put her in this program, a Sylvan Learning Center. We put her in there for 6 months. Boy, was it expensive, but let me tell you, Brains, it was worth every penny. Within 6 months, she was back to her reading level, and she asked me to buy her the Harry Potter book. Well, the first one was like almost 800 pages. Wasn't one of them almost 800 pages? The child read the book. And in my heart, I just owe so much to J.K. Rowling. I do, because the story kept her interesting. There was vocabulary. It was a different time period. It's just really, really magical. Have you been to Universal Studios here in San Diego, in Hollywood?
No, I have not been to the Hollywood location. I have been to the Orlando location probably 5 or 6 times now.
Wow. Did you have your own wand?
I don't have my own wand, but I have collected many. You can see a little bit in the background. This is the magical Harry Potter office.
Wow.
My entire office is decorated and dedicated to all things Harry Potter. I have numbered prints from the set creator who made prints. I have multiple wand collections. I have a framed version of the Marauders map. I'm drinking water out of a butterbeer mug.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm so glad to know that you have something that brings you joy when you are not out building businesses and transforming, these corporate entities. I know that there's still something magical going on with you. So that is really great to know. And we'll catch up again soon.
All righty. Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Bye. Well, I think that you are a wizard. Yes, ma'am, because you are doing big things, beautiful things. And again, like I said, Brains, if you are an employee and you've been outsourced, listen to some of the things that Sophie has said and how she's reinvented herself. Don't just sit there at the job and be a mechanical animal. Learn every aspect of the business. Learn the ins and outs. I still have contacts from places that I've worked before, beautiful relationships. Some of these people have turned out to be my mentors, from HR to the client base. There's always an opportunity there. Look at other industries that you never thought of before. If you are an employer, now this is going to be a whole different ball of wax, folks working from home, taking all of your proprietary information off site. You've got to look at that. You've got to look at your safety and security. Why not go with a company like Sophie that's already established, that already knows what to do and is an expert in the field? So Sophie, please tell my brains how to get in contact with you if they are interested in, maybe you'll do some consultation calls. I don't know if you're doing some things, you're a social media guru. So I'm sure that you have some great information on your website as well as your social media platforms. Share with that information with my brains and how we get in contact with you.
You can check out everything there is to know about me and the business at my website, which is Sophiezo, SOPHIEZ as in zebra, O.com. You can find me on Twitter as Sophiezo. You can find me on Instagram as the Sophiezo. And you can find me on Facebook at Facebook.com/Sophiezo. All of those are SOPHIEZ as in zebra O. LinkedIn is slightly different. That one's going to be my full name. It's linkedin.com/IN/Sophia Zollmann. And that's SOPHIAZOLLMANN. And on my website, there's a link to set up a free discovery call. I do offer 30-minute free discovery calls. And there is I have several free resources, The Ultimate Guide to Taking Back Your Time, which talks a lot about outsourcing and teams and things like that. And I've got one that is the 7 must-have tools for your online business. So that if you're trying to get more online marketing going, or if you've never been online and you want to get started, that little freebie can help you get started as well. So,
and again, Brains, like I said, here on the Edge, we're going to give you information. This is for the United States, but you can still take this business model and groom it to wherever you are in the world. You know that our show is in 40 different countries, and we got 62,000. Oh, yes. We done moved up 2,000 more people. Okay, I am so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for investing in me, to let me share in your space, to share all the wonderful things that you're doing, because the business world has changed, especially since I've been in corporate America, and people are looking to work smarter, not harder. Now that they've been home and they've been able to, chillax for a minute, they value that. They're going to value that time. And so when they go back, they're going to be a little bit lazy. And they're going to be baffled. They don't know what to do, but this is giving them time to look at their finances, to look at their business structure, to even look at their employees' brains. Oh, yes, they're looking at you, how you're responding and how you're acting from home, because they're zooming right in. So thank you so much, Sophiezo, for zooming in here with me on the Edge. Please come back and keep us informed of what's going on. This is ever evolving, and I love so much how you are a chameleon and you're able just to transform yourself and to metamorphosize into other beautiful things. You're a smart lady.
Well, thank you very much. It was my pleasure being here, and I would love to come back anytime. Just let me know when.
I will. All right, Brains, please go and subscribe. Okay, I need those numbers way through the roof. Okay, I told you we've got 62,000, and I don't have 62,000 subscribers, so help me with that. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Spotify, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on you, because I love you from the bottom of my socks, because my heart just isn't deep enough. I'll talk to you again, Sophie. Be a good girl.
All right, thanks. You too.
All right, bye, Brains. Have an exceptional day. Make some money.